Hello everyone. I am the faceless frontliner. I speak on behalf of the professionally silenced frontline workers of the NHS, who selflessly help to care for patients who are diagnosed and displaying symptoms of the deadly coronavirus, COVID-19. Before I begin this statement, I would like to sincerely thank the many newspapers, journalists and organizations who helped raise awareness of the disgraceful situation I am about to highlight, and previously exposed in my last video. 1 week has now passed since the last video. Absolutely nothing has changed. Frontline NHS workers caring for diagnosed COVID-positive patients in hospitalized isolation rooms continue to be ordered to carry out close proximity nursing, wearing exactly the same shocking PPE that I exposed in my last video. In the last week I have received a massive amount of contact by nurses, healthcare workers, medics and general members of the public who are rightly horrified by this situation. I am absolutely disgusted by the chosen lack of action by the NHS, government, and trade unions. Despite being asked for comment by the press, trade unions refused, and instead chosen a wall of silence. The clear lack of action or response by the unions, who have chosen not to speak out against the serious health and safety matters raised in the last video, is extremely disappointing. To continue to allow thousands of their members and NHS workers to be working in this appallingly unacceptable environment is shameful. Especially when members pay for unions to give them a voice and stand up for their rights. To the unions I say this. Where are you? Why have you intentionally chosen to be silent when questioned by the press about the serious health and safety matters raised, at this crucial time of need? Why have you allowed this shameful practice to continue to go on without objection? 1 full week has passed. How many NHS workers were exposed to the deadly virus in that time? NHS workers with husbands, wives, sons, daughters, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters. Your shameful choice of silence, and lack of action, continues to make vulnerable individuals risk their lives with the PPE exposed in the last video. The NHS are already well aware that the PPE that staff are being ordered to use for COVID-positive patients in hospitalized isolation rooms is not safe. They are fully aware that patients often vigorously and uncontrollably cough as a result of the virus. They are absolutely more than fully aware that they have intentionally chosen to provide masks that are not sealed to the face, do not have air filters, and risk the wearer breathing in floating droplets or bacteria of the deadly virus in the air. As mentioned in my previous video, this is not a mistake. This is an intentional decision that has been made by the organization. Despite their claims that they are only following the guidance of the government, they also have an organizational responsibility to keep their employees safe. Yet they continue to order that the PPE exposed in the last video should continue to be worn by staff during close proximity interventions for patients diagnosed with COVID-19 in hospitalized isolation rooms. As stated previously, these patients are often uncontrollably and violently coughing due to the virus. The patient's body is naturally reacting to COVID-19 by trying to expel the virus out of their system into the air. All the while nurses and healthcare workers are in close bodily contact, wearing PPE that does not filter the air. This is nothing short of disgraceful. The only time when full PPE is allowed to be worn is when patients are subject to interventions that involve tubes put into their airways in intensive care units. The vast majority of all other areas treating patients diagnosed with COVID-19 are ordered to use the PPE exposed in the previous video. It really is this simple. When a person is simply going to their place of work to earn money to provide for their family that they love, they have a right to be appropriately protected. When you are sending a vulnerable individual into a virally contaminated isolated environment, to carry out close proximity intimate procedures such as washing, clothing, feeding or changing, then they should have always been supplied with the full protective equipment of sealed masks with filters and full body PPE. Anything short of this is unacceptable. To conclude, since the original video exposing the dangerous PPE, nothing has happened. Workers' lives continue to be put at risk. Workers continue to be unable to speak out publicly due to fear of professional repercussion, and evident lack of support by the unions on the matter. When asked for comment on the serious health and safety issues raised in the last video, the unions chose a wall of silence in response to questions from the press. The NHS has done nothing to change its practice. The government has not stepped in and ordered a change to the practice. NHS staff continue to be ordered to use the PPE exposed in the last video. We need your help. Please share this video. Please also share the original video. Email television and radio stations with links to these videos, asking them to expose the situation to the nation. Expose this situation as far and wide as practically possible. Frontline workers are now left with no other option but to rely on you, the public, to demand a change to this practice. Let us all stand together. Let us demand protection for those very individuals that risk their lives to protect all of you. Please help us. Thank you.